Hello, welcome guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the new episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV. This is 2013 and this is the first episode this year, episode 99. I welcome you, thank you for stopping by, thank you for watching, and as usual I've got two great tutorials for you that I want to share with you, and some tips and tips and tricks and techniques and so on. Please remember to visit my blog PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk for all the latest information from Adobe, anything about Photoshop, Lightroom and technology as well. But now it's time for a tutorial. The first tutorial is going to be in Photoshop. Now, have you ever used the color lookup adjustment in Photoshop? My guess is, like most people, you probably haven't. So this might be something new for you. Let's jump into Photoshop. Now, color lookups are used in Photoshop to apply color effects, to apply color toning to images. What color lookup does is it's matching colors to a lookup table, and the colors within the image are being changed. It's been used in photography for a really long time. Now it's available here in Photoshop as well. What I've done already is I've duplicated the background layer. So I'm going to work on the background copy. You find the color lookup adjustment under adjustments. Now I'm going to use the adjustment icon at the bottom of the layers panel, so it's been applied non-destructively. And you find the color lookup here. In the color lookup opens in properties panel now in Photoshop CS6, and we can load a number of different color lookups. Okay, so for example, to strip look. That makes the image kind of a bit more greenish. Looks a bit more like the effect you get when you take a slide film and you process it in like a normal film negative when developing it in a machine. But there's loads of other color lookups, okay, with some interesting effects. Candlelight or crisp warm or crisp winter, they look a bit different on different images, so it all depends on the image you're using as well. Edgy umber, quite an interesting one. What I usually do is I just use the arrow keys on my keyboard to cycle through different options. I kind of like this late sunset in here in this example. You can also load a 3D loot file if you have one, so you could load it from the computer. You can also load abstract profiles, okay, in here, like the pastel one, or the sienna, or maybe turquoise. Yeah, or kind of like the original. So I'm just going to cancel it. I'll stick to these guys here, and I use the what was it? Edgy umber. Okay, and it creates an adjustment layer. Now the good news is you can find the color lookup in the adjustments panel as well. Is this guy here. So if you just use the adjustments panel straight away all the time, you can apply the color lookup adjustment here in the same way. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in Photoshop. Welcome back once again to episode 99 of PhotoshopLightroomTV. I'm your host Marek Mularczyk from SAItraining.co.uk. I've got one more tutorial for you. This one's going to be slightly different. But first, let me share with you something. I've recently purchased a new lens for my camera, and I'm doing a review of this lens. It's a Sigma 18 to 250 millimeters. f3.5 to 6.3. For some time I've been looking for a travel lens, because I've got one of the L lenses from Canon, but I was looking for a travel lens, a lens that I could use to shoot the landscapes and portraits and some real close-ups. So I was looking at some zoom travel lenses, or I think they called ultra zoom lenses or super zoom lenses, and I'm going to talk more about it in a separate video. I'm going to create a separate video for the review as well. But what I wanted to share with you is that I've got a Sigma 18 to 250 millimeters. That's the one I'm using now to record this video, and I've been pleasantly surprised with this lens so far. So far, very good lens that I would highly recommend for travel. But now it's time for second tutorial. The second tutorial is going to be on Cooler. Have you heard about Adobe Cooler? No? Let me show you how you can use Adobe Cooler for color lookup, for looking up the colors that you want to use in your Photoshop projects, for example. You know how sometimes you're working on a design or on an image and you want to apply a certain color? But there's a couple of ways you can apply some specific colors. One of them is the Adobe Color Picker. So for example, if you use one of the painting tools that use your foreground color, you can change your foreground color, and you get a couple of options in here. In the Color Picker, you can pick a color visually by looking at it, but you can also use the values like RGB values or HSB, hue saturation, brightness, or LAB or CMYK, or even hexadecimal values that are used in web design, or hex values as they're often called. So for example, you may be given a hex value from the client and you can just type it in here, like let's say 003C2E, which is a certain dark shade of green. Okay. You can also use color libraries, so you can use Pantone colors, and there's lots of Pantone colors in here, all libraries of Pantones. But what I want to show you is another option with Cooler. I'm just going to click Picker and I'll cancel it. I'll go to the web browser to cooler.adobe.com. And if you haven't used Cooler before, Cooler is used for creating and using color schemes. So sets of colors that go well within the design, for example, a website. So what you can do is you can look for something you like here on Cooler. You don't have to log in. Okay? You can do quite a lot without logging in here. So I'm going to select, let's say, maybe this handicraft. I'll click on it. It loads in here. These are the colors. Now I know what you're thinking. What we used to do in the past is, for example, take a screenshot and then sample the color using the eyedropper tool in Photoshop. But you don't have to do it, because when the color scheme loads, you can click on this icon here to edit it or make changes or even view color values. So click on it. It opens the color. Let's say I like this color, for example. Okay. What's great in here is that for each color you have all the values. So for example, if I don't want to use this color in Photoshop, I can just set the RGB to, or I can actually use this hex. I can copy that, go back into Photoshop and paste it here, and that's the color. Fantastic. But what else you can do in Cooler is you can change the colors. Okay, these are the colors that appear here. That's the one. There's one here on the right. And that's the one on the left. So for example, you can click and drag to change the color. Notice how the sliders are moving on the left hand side of the screen, because I'm changing the color. So what you can do is you can create your own custom colors. You can change these colors. You can also use these sliders here. Okay, you've got these values here that can also be changed. I could type in 41 instead of 43, for example. And if you sign in to Cooler with your Adobe ID, you can save this theme for later use. There's a save button here on the top. You can give it a name, you can add some tags and just save it. Did you enjoy the Cooler video? I hope you did. Let me know if you have any requests, if there's anything you want me to cover. Let me know, I'll be more than happy to create a tutorial for you. You can contact me through one of the social networks. You'll find me on Google+, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. It's easy to find me. Or you can contact me straight from my website at saitraining.co.uk. I'm Marek Mularczyk from saitraining.co.uk, and thank you very much for stopping by and watching this episode 99 of Photoshop Lightroom TV. I hope to see you next week. Enjoy.